Hi, and welcome to Origin of Concepts. Today we're gonna explore 666, the number of the beast. Whoa. I'll show you how the entire Bible text in Revelation 13, number of the beast, is actually a story about identifying the beast within yourself, which is rewarded with the mark of the Spirit, not the mark of the beast. This misleading phrase is nowhere written and is based on a complete misinterpretation of the texts. The devil is in the details, so to speak. Okay, the entire text is made by inspiration of the light and shadow aspects of the Milky Way center. And before we start, I'll comment and draw on the run. And if you're not the patient type of guy or girl, then you can just scroll to the end of the video to get the juicy result. Let's go. Okay, I'll start reading Revelation 13, verse 1 to 18, because that's here it all is. Okay, 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. Okay. I'll do it quickly. The sand is, of course, the disk and the red part of the Milky Way. And the beast is rising up out of the sea, and the sea is, of course, the blue part above the disk, and the striped shadow here is the water or the river from the sea. And then we got the beast itself. The beast is a character described by the striped shadow here. This is all the heads and all the crowns and so on. And the blasphemy upon his head. Blasphemy is when you speak bad about God. And the striped shadow is also the blasphemy coming out of the big mouth in the Milky Way center here. So, there we got. Let's move on to 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay, so let's start with the leopard. This part here is the leopard with the leopard skin, the silvery shadow. And then we got the bear, or the feet of a bear, which is basically the same shadow. Here, just added with some claws of the bear. The striped shadow is the claws, and the silvery shadow is the foot. Okay, or the pawn. And then we got the dragon. The dragon is always the dragon head up here. You can't see it because the shadow is going into the background. But up here we got the dragon head, and this is always the dragons in most myths around the world. Spying fire out of his mouth. And then we got the seed. Uh, and the seed is, of course, the Milky Way center, the throne in heaven. So this is the seed. And you're sitting here. So here you got the seed. Okay, let's move on to verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay, first of all, the wound is the disk in the Milky Way center, and the red part of the Milky Way is all the blood from the wound. And then it's and of course, it's the sore here who makes the wound. You can the wound. You can read more about my sore video. And then all the people wonder at the beast is, of course, the striped shadow here. It represents all the people watching, the crowd. Okay, let's move on. Verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And you already know the dragon is here. And they, again, is the striped shadow here. And they are, normally this is out of my league, but they are worshipping the beast in fear, of course, because of what other things about them. So that's the reason. Okay, and let's move to verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Doesn't matter. What's important here is the is the mouth again. Here. This is the mouth, and the striped shadow is the speaking. So he got a mouth now, so he can speak. When you give a person room to make bad speaking, he'll just get a bigger mouth. Okay. And then we got the him, because him is the beast, and the power of the beast is growing, unless you stop it, Just what I said before, you get a bigger mouth if people don't stop you. Okay, and let's go to verse 6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. You know the mouth now. And the tabernacle is the tent, and the Milky Way center here is the tent. It's the tabernacle in the Bible story, with the entrance here, the ark. And I always do some so. Now it's not blowing anywhere. This is the tabernacle, of course. And the mouth is the Milky Way. And those who dwell in heaven is, of course, the striped shadow, or the stripes in the striped shadow. So here you got verse 6. Verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. The saints, again, is the crowd of people, and kindreds, tongues is the striped shadow, and the nations. They are all the striped shadows. And let me give you an example of the tongue, because you got the mouth here. And this striped shadow here is, of course, the tongue. So when you speak in tongues, you know where it originates from. Okay, let's move to verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. And again, the dwellers, or the dwellings, is the people here in the striped shadow, which is also the earth itself, because in most myth this is the earth in heaven, and this is the blue part here is the heaven in heaven. You know, the earth with cities and people and all the things in the physical world. And then we got the book of life, and the Milky Way center is a great scroll, and the striped shadow is the text. I'll try to make it here. You know, this is the big scroll in the Milky Way, and here you got all the text written on the scroll. So this is the book of life. And in other myths, you know, it's like a stone table with some text written on. So this is the book of life. And then the slain lamb is the white area above the disc here. The white section here is the slain lamb, you know, laying on the altar with fire. And its head is here with two horns. Yes. Let's move on to verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. And the Milky Way center is the ear. Let me see if I can make an ear. Yeah, here's the ear. And the hearing is also the striped shadow here. That's the sound going into the ear. It going into the ear of the Milky Way. So it's the sound wave entering the ear. So we move on to verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the fate of the saints. And people in captivity is visualized by the striped shadow, of course. And captivity is like they are held in the bad human aspect, you know. They haven't obtained wisdom, so they live in their emotions, so to speak. And let me see. And the sword, of course, is the dark shadows crossing over the disk in the Milky Way center. This is the sword here, and this is the horizontal part over the sword. So now you know what verse 10 is about. And let's move on to verse 11. And I behold another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. The second beast is the horn shadow and the striped shadow with the red eyes. Let me draw it. He is here, that little devil guy. And this is also with 2 horns like a lamb, because it's the head of the slain lamb lying here on the altar. And the dragon speech is, of course, the striped shadow here, the dragon speech from the dragon mouth here, and the dragon's head here. Okay. Verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And I really don't have any comments to that, because there's only the it's the same as in the previous. 13. And he did great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Okay. So he made fire coming down from heaven. This is heaven. In the sight of men. And here we got all the men. And that's the spirit of the disc light. The golden disc light, is emerging down through people to give them wisdom. And the sight of the beast is also the striped shadow. Because the Milky Way center is also the big eye, you see. It's also the big eye. And the sight is, of course, the stripes in the striped shadow. I'll make it like a triangle like this, but glimmering in the eye. So this is the sight from the big eye. Okay. 14. Let me change my color here. And deceived them that dwell on earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. I just made the sight for you from the big eyes, so we don't need to do that once again. And the image itself is the Milky Way center, painted by the pencil here, the striped shadow. And this pen is also the pen which is used by Egypt. Thoth, is writing the destiny and stuff like that. And the Milky Way center is also the image of God. It's mentioned in the Old Testament, uh, where God saying, "Let us make man in our image," because this is the big picture, and we will make men in this image. Perfect. Let's go to verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And this is only moral, but it is necessary to worship the image of the beast, to be aware of and be able to avoid the beast. So if you don't worship the image, you have no chance to get rid of the beast. If you don't know the beast, you won't be able to fight it. So that's why you must worship the image of the beast. And end of that chat. Okay, verse 16. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. This is one of the most crucial part of the text, which had led to so many misunderstandings. Let me read it once again, just so we are sure what is written. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, first of all the peoples, rich and poor, is the striped shadow here. The mark is the disc in the middle of the Milky Way. The spirit mark, the mark of wisdom for those who know their enemies, so to speak. So this is the spirit mark. And now let me draw the right hand. It's not the left hand, it's the right hand, because it's the hand in the Milky Way center here. And we could draw it like this. The hand is really like this, holding but this is also the hand here. You could do whatever you like. So this is the mark on the right hand. And then, of course, the most important of them all, the mark on the forehead, which is the entire Milky Way center here. In many myths, this is named the forehead. And in the middle of the forehead, you got the mark of spirit. It's also, if you look at Greek goddesses and in Mesopotamia and other places, they got headbands with a jewel in the middle, or in Hinduism, they got a bindu dot. It's exactly the same we are talking about. This is just the biblical version. And sometimes I think about it's almost like they are trying to make the Bible, want people to misunderstand it because it's very cryptic. So, but here you got the spirit mark on the forehead. And then let's move on to verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save or unless he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And this is also very important to interpret this text right on the right way, because buying and selling is a metaphor for dealing with wisdom. Only the one who bears the mark of spirit is able to interpret and impart wisdom. With other words, shut the up if you don't know what you're talking about, and don't spread drama. That's what it's all about. Silence is silver. No, you speak it. What do you say? Silence is gold. Okay, think before you speak, and that's what this is all about. Don't do anything or say anything unless you know what you're doing. And let's go to verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And the man is yourself. It's you. And the number of the beast inside yourself is 666. So, if you live in your feelings, and do bad things, then you are the man with the number 666. And let me explain a little more here. 666 is a code known by he who carry wisdom to identify the beast within himself, and therefore is able to navigate around the superfluous negative qualities of man, also known as excess 666. And 666 is 6 for thought, 6 for speech, and 6 for your actions. It's the 3 sixes. And the number 6 and all the this concept around number 6 is actually from something the Bible writers copied from the Pythagoreans number 6. So it goes way back on the Pythagorean line, way before the Abrahamic religions, and the idea of number 6. And just to add up on that, then number 7 is spirit. Number 7 is spirit. The perfection of man marked by the disk, the spirit in the Milky Way center, so to speak. The spirit emerging through the striped shadow here into the people of the earth. Okay, and please note that the phrase mark of the beast simply doesn't exist anywhere in any texts. It's the number, just to make it totally clear here, it's the number of the beast and not the mark of the beast. The mark is something you get when you know the number of the beast. So when you obtain wisdom, you will get the spirit mark, so to speak. Okay, I think you get it. And I don't want to sound like a priest, but in this specific case, I think it was necessary just to reveal the real meaning of the 666. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, that's all. I hope you enjoyed my video. And if you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if not, well, call the devil and ask him to do something. Until next video, take care. Bye.